channel. I hope you're all doing well out there, and I hope you all had a great weekend. Today we're going to run down a list of 10 films. I've been thinking about this for a while that I think could benefit from a remake. Before we get into it, like, comment, and subscribe. You join me here, I greatly would appreciate that. Now, I am not saying I actually do like each of the 10 films on this list. Some more than others. Some really don't age very well. Now, remakes are always a tough thing. Some are bona fide classics like Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they were remade. And I like those remakes to varying degrees, but sometimes some movies should be left alone. The Hitcher is one of them. I just did the original Hitcher and the Hitcher remake because there was no benefit there. It was pretty much the same movie, just with a couple characters added and a couple extra scenes, but other than that, it was the same movie all over again. The Psycho remake's infamous for being a waste of time. It's a shot-for-shot remake. These films, I think, have interesting setups, interesting story ideas that could be expanded upon and possibly even made more badass today with the technology we have and through maybe a better script. Again, a lot of these films on this list of 10 I really like and I own in my collection. But we're going to run down some right now. At number 10, we're going to go with 1988's Scarecrows. This film, if you've never seen it, just quick, it's about these hijackers hijack this plane, they parachute out, land in this little house in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the cemetery, and there's these killer scarecrows. And it's an awesome premise. It's a very low budget affair. I think this movie has such a good idea that you could really make this something with a remake with a little bit like some more money and a director that's willing to just go for it. So yeah, Scarecrows is at number 10, and I would like to see a modern remake of this film. Number 9, this one's a little bit odd because I really do like this film. I have a lot of nostalgia for it. Silver Bullet from 1985. This is a Stephen King adaptation. I like this film. I really do. It has a special meaning, a special place in my heart because I used to watch this as a kid growing up in Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. So I still watch it to this day. I own it on my iTunes account. It's a very enjoyable werewolf film. I never liked the werewolf design per se. It looks like more like a bear than a werewolf. But there's some really cool scenes as a nice cast here. And I like the story. I really do. I think, now, I don't know how many of you know this, but Don Coscarelli was originally going to direct this film. He was even in the scripting process, and then he left the project because of creative differences. I would have loved to have seen what Don Coscarelli would have done with this property. But I think this is a film that could benefit from a remake and give us a really cool, up-to-date werewolf film. And we'll always have the 85 version. I like that film a lot. But yeah, I think Silver Bullet could use a remake. That's, well, if it's done for the right reasons and with the right folks, I think it could be something really special. At number 8, I'm going to go with Waxwork. Now, I really love Waxwork. I'm going to review it this Halloween. I have 1 and 2 on Blu-ray, and I really like this film. Anthony Hitchcock's directed it. Zach Gallian's in it. David Warner's in it, so there's some recognizable actors in this film. And I think it's a well-done movie. It was a low-budget affair. It was shot pretty quickly. It was a miracle what they were able to pull off on such a low budget and time constraints. I think this would be a pretty cool remake to tackle by somebody that really wants to take the essence of the story and just push it further. I think there's a lot of places you can go with this story and make it really cool and use some of the updated special effects, although obviously I prefer as much makeup effects as possible. But I think something special could be used out of this premise, and Waxwork comes in at number 8. At number 7, a movie that's near and dear to my heart, another one I have great nostalgia for. I own the Blu-ray, Chud. I really love Chud. It's a product of its time. I think it's a really cool creature feature. It was trying to have some social commentary on homelessness and environmental things, but at the end of the day, it's just a creature feature. And I love the design of the creature. I think this is another one that can use an update. This was a very low budget affair as well. I really like it. It has a pretty good cast, the original, but I think you could do something with this too. So at number 7, Chud. At number 6, Wes Craven's Shocker from '89. This movie is one of those films where Wes Craven had a lot of creative control. And while the premise is pretty badass, and our killer in the beginning of the film is somebody that really could have been a horror icon if this film was taken more seriously. Unfortunately, about halfway through the film, it just evolves into B-movie schlock, which is fine, but it just becomes super campy. The effects really don't hold up. And I think this is a movie that would benefit from somebody taking it seriously and sticking to that all the way through and give us a really cool slasher film. I think it could be done and make it something really cool and interesting. So yeah, number 6, Wes Craven's shocker. At number 5, a film that I used to watch all the time on TV. It was on at Halloween time all the time. I Come in Peace, or as it's known now, Dark Angel with Dolph Lundgren. This came out in 1990. I like the original film. I own it on Blu-ray. I really enjoy it. But I think this is another film that has a really cool premise. Even though it's borrowed from other things, I think there's a lot you can do with this story and make an action-packed sci-fi horror kick-ass movie. So yeah, at number 5, I Come in Peace, or as it's known now, Dark Angel. At number 4, Night of the Comet. I really love Night of the Comet. It's one of those B fun movies with a pretty cool little, cast here. But it's also a film that could be remade into something else, use the central premise and expand upon it. I always thought Night of the Comet would be ripe for a remake. I love the original film, don't get me wrong, but I think this is another one that could use an update. So at number 3, we're going to go with The First Power, starring Lou Diamond Phillips. I love The First Power. It didn't do well upon release, sadly. I love these cult, satanic type horror films, and this is one of those. There's another one on this list coming up that I really think would make a great remake. This is one that I think is really well done. There's some really cool action scenes. It's well acted. But I think there's more you can do with this and push the cult, satanic angle, possession angle even further and make a really kick-ass horror action film. I think it really could be done with the right cast and right crew and right director. But yes, The First Power comes in at number 3. At number 2, our other satanic witch movie, Spellbinder from '88. This movie kind of came and went in theaters. I remember seeing the advertisement for it on the VHS for Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. These both came out around the same time. Unfortunately, Spellbinder kind of just got dumped in limited release and kind of went off into VHS rental land, which is where I first saw it. I owned a Blu-ray. There was a Blu-ray on Amazon. I don't know if it's still available, but I bought it a few years ago. And it's a film I do enjoy. And there's some good performances in it. There's a nice twist on it, although you can kind of see it coming a mile away. But there's also some goofy, over-the-top shit. So you have the satanic witch angle, and then it kind of goes a little far with some of the other stuff. I think you could really make a really hard R, serious cult satanic witch film out of this premise and expand upon it. And it's one I've always thought about. So yes, at number 2, Spellbinder. At number 1, this is a movie I used to watch as a kid in the early 90s. I've always enjoyed it, but it is ripe for a remake, I think, anyway, in my opinion. And that one is Popcorn from 1991. This was executive produced by Bob Clark. And I love the premise all day long. I would love for this to be remade and updated. I think it has a really unique premise, at least at that time when it came out. I think they were limited by budget, for sure. But the setting, the way things unfold, some of the effects were very impressive, especially with him being able to change faces and the way he did it. Were very impressive for such a low-budget film. But yes, at number 1, Popcorn. So that is my top 10 horror films that I think would benefit from a remake. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think you would like to see remade in the horror genre. There's always going to be remakes, and they're going to remake stuff we love and maybe some stuff we haven't seen or a little bit smaller of a following. So yeah, let me know down below what movie you'd think would benefit from a remake in the horror genre. And do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. Join me here. I greatly would appreciate that. I'll be back later in the week with a review for Ambulance. I'm going to see it tomorrow night in the theaters, and then The Predator towards the end of the week, and then Mr. Majestic next week. But I hope you're all doing well out there, and I'll just leave you with bye.